Hello and welcome to episode 178 of the Daily Sales Message, where every single day is a daily podcast because I'm crazy. Every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff. If you're new around here, my name is James Newell. I teach people how to sell, and for me, selling is just about really good communication and finding a connection point. It's definitely not about techniques and trickery and pushing and persuasion or any of this kind of stuff. The fact is, if you don't like something being done to you when you're buying something, then why are you doing it to people when you're selling to them? It's a really interesting concept. Anyway, in this episode, we're talking about the 5 buying elements, and there are 5 things I think that need to be in place for somebody to actually buy from you. We're just going to run down the 5, and it's worth having this checklist to hand because it'll help you to gauge how likely somebody is to buy or where you might need to place your attention to move the conversation forward. So the first one is they don't have awareness, or they do have awareness. They need to have an awareness of the problem that they have, and that you are the solution for that, or you can be the solution for that. So awareness is the very, very first step. How do we make them aware of you? Well, that's advertising, social media posting, networking, cold calls, outreach, email, etc. There's actually 36 different places that you can look to find potential buys. Probably more than you expected, but there are 36. But that's the first thing, is that awareness piece. Have to be aware of the problem, and also aware that there's a solution, but there's also your solution. The second thing is having the money. So I might be aware of your solution, but maybe I can't afford it. Now's not a good time. So I have to be aware, but I've also got to have the money and be able to invest, be able to spend, and be happy to do so to solve that problem. So the problem is troublesome enough that I want to spend money to solve it. The third thing is trust. They have to be able to trust you to deliver, trust you to do what you do, whether that's you as in you as a person, you as in your business, or you as in your solution, your product, your service. They have to be able to trust you. And this is where, and I go on it quite a lot, and if you've listened to the Daily Sales Message before, if you follow me online, you know I'm obsessed with LinkedIn recommendations, and I spent a long time trying to hit 500 LinkedIn recommendations as a single person business. But having that proof, social proof, case studies, reviews, Trustpilot, Google, Facebook, whatever, doesn't really matter where it is, but collecting social proof, evidence essentially that you can deliver, really important, because it will help to reassure people that they can actually trust you. The fourth buying element is the timing. It's got to be the right time. So I might have an awareness of the problem, I might have the money to do it, and I might trust you to help me. But it's not the right time. It's the start of our financial year. It's the end of our financial year. We've just done this. We haven't done that. Blah, blah, blah. There's a timing element there. And, there's only so much we can do about that. But certainly from my experience with my clients and my students in my programs, working with people around their trigger point. So what triggers somebody to need you? What motivates them to need you? And the really simple example I always use is a leaky tap is a trigger point for me to call a plumber. So I have a house, I have toilets and bars and sinks and showers and all that kind of pipe work and everything. So I'm an ideal client for a plumber. But it's only when something happens, I have a leaky tap, or I want to upgrade my boiler. So it doesn't have to have the urgency of a leaky tap, but there is some motivation, some movement, something that will trigger me to go, need a plumber. So being the right time is the fourth buying element that we need to make sure it's there. And that really starts at how you're targeting people and when and where you're finding them. We can't control it, but we can be very mindful of that in our qualification process. The final thing is being the right person. And that's as in the DM, the decision maker. So I could be aware of the problem. I've got the money to do it. I trust you. It's the right time. But I don't sign this off at our company. Bob does. So it's about finding the decision maker and who is responsible for this stuff. And there's 2 ways we can do that. One is literally through deduction and actually kind of doing our due diligence and asking. And the second one is when you're in conversation with the person saying this phrase. Is there anybody else involved in making this decision? Is there anybody else involved in making this decision? That's a polite way of saying, are you the decision maker, or are your mum and dad at home? But it's a non-offensive way of doing it. Is there anybody else involved in making this decision? So there you have it. Those are the 5 buying elements that we need to be mindful of, but also they have to be present essentially for the sale to happen. And if the sale isn't happening, it's probably because one of those is missing. So we have awareness, money, trust, timing, and being the actual person of authority to sign things off and proceed. Okay, slightly longer episode than usual today. Not quite a micro blog, but there we go. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about 3 letters, 3 simple letters, and the second one is O. I'm going to tease you there. Second one is O. 3 simple letters that will help you to sell more. Not only will it help you to sell more, it'll help you to communicate better with your target buyer. Hopefully you're sufficiently intrigued by that. I'll catch you tomorrow for another exciting edition of the Daily Sales Message.